Hello, this is J.N.S. and happy Friday. I hope you guys are having a great Friday. And I hope you guys are going to have a great weekend. And so we are back with the weekly tarot. And we're going to do the review like we always do of what we covered last week before we get into uh, this week's reading, which would be the week of May 4th to May 10th. So we always do a review of what we covered for the previous week. And then we also um, do world events if we see any world events, as well as individual readings. And another thing we like to do is what I'm finding is helpful with many of the things that we see coming to pass in terms of showing what we were, reviewing what we talked about last week. I'm going to be giving out a lot of resources that you can take advantage of because remember, we were seeing a lot of things with the home ownership program last week, with home ownership, things with FAA regulation changes, and all of that has come to pass. And so I want to give out those resources that we found because there was a lot of home ownership programs that came out last week. I mean, well, this week. We did the video Friday the 26th. Yeah, we did the video April 26th talking about, we talked about there were going to be a lot of home ownership programs, that there would be a lot of things with airlines and FFA, not FFA, FAA. We talked about, there were some other things. And then we also wanted to follow up with the job stuff because that's also still a big energy that we see in terms of the things that they're doing on a national level to switch from the way that they're doing their hiring practices. So in addition to, we were talking about the predictive algorithms for the on the weekly basis with the tarot. Those results and those resources I'm going to share in this live as well because it was a lot of home ownership programs that came out that you guys can actually potentially benefit from and take advantage of. Since it's recent, it's on a weekly basis, and so the stuff that I got to share with you today is only about what 1 day old, maybe even a couple of days old. And so we'll start first. Let me actually start to share the screen because we're going to talk about the home ownership stuff first. Now, you got some home ownership that's national, but also some things that are state as far as some of these programs. And so the first one we see, this happened on April 29th, we see that they rolled out an affordable home ownership revolving fund. Okay, and so this is the Hawaii Housing Finance and Development Corporation. Okay, and they're setting aside some funds for nonprofit community development and financial institutions. So this is an affordable homeownership revolving fund, and that is another tool to increase the state's housing inventory for Hawaii families. And so here is the eligibility requirements. It talks about that you must develop houses for individuals and families who earn no more than 100% of the area median income. Okay, so they got some stuff right here, but here is the link. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just share this, and we're gonna move on because it's a lot of stuff with the home ownership that happened this week, and so we can't spend too much time on any one source because we have to move along quickly. So that's one of the first ones. Okay, so now let's go to another one that we saw for this week with the home ownership. Okay, so Chicago also rolled out. Let's see what they did in Chicago. Okay, so this was Tuesday, April 30th. And it says owning your home could be challenging, but there are resources to help you save for a down payment. Okay, so let's see what's the program here. Okay, I'm trying to look for the how do you save money and save extra money. Okay, so here is the programs listed for Chicago. They got the Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago offers the down payment assistance program. So it provides a $20,000 grant, and then the 10,000 for non-Chicago residents living or moving to Chicago to meet those income limits. So if anybody that may be interested in looking into that, let's see. Yeah, it looks like there was this Neighborhood Housing Services of Chicago, and we're gonna quickly move on because that. So I thought I saw some more interesting stuff come out with this. But nonetheless, let's see. Then we have this is a housing vacancy. What's this? Home ownership. So this was like a press release. I'm not sharing this one because we're going to quickly move on because this one is not necessarily a program. So here's another program. This one came out yesterday. State program encourages Ohio home ownership for college grads. So this one sounds pretty cool. We're looking for more of national programs that encourage home ownership for college grads on a national basis, but they are doing a lot of these state programs for the college grads. Okay, so this is the Grants for Grad program through the Ohio Housing Finance Agency. They will pay the 2 to 5% down payment for the first time homes. Okay, if you have bachelor's, master's, doctorate, or other posts that was obtained in the last 4 years, you must live in a home for 5 years to receive the grant. So that just came out yesterday, and I feel like that's a damn good resource for those living in Ohio. I think that's a good resource for those living in Ohio. If you guys are looking for this week's reading mainly, again, we do the review first, and then we'll go into next week's reading, rather. Next week's reading. But we do always go through review, so I understand if this may be annoying to people, but at the same time, we want to discuss what we talked about in the last video, but also some of these things you can take advantage of that come out. So a lot of these things that came out this week. So here is another program. Let's see. So it says this one came out on Monday, April 29th. The surprising way the government is making housing more affordable for home buyers. And so again, let's see, rising housing prices and mortgages. So they're doing some tax break on starter home sales. That's getting mixed reviews. And then they're saying there's some Biden moves to attempt to improvement regarding housing crisis. Treasury will allow and so that's another thing. I'm not sharing it. That's not really a resource. Okay, so here was another program as well. Wells Fargo expands down payment grant program to help bridge homeownership gap. And so this was also released April 29th. And so, let's see, Wells Fargo Home Lending on Friday announced an expansion of its 10,000 home buyer access grant program to additional communities in the 8 metropolitan areas where the program was launched in 2023. Okay, so they're expanding it. So I guess you could receive up to 15,000 from Wells Fargo to help purchase a home. Okay, and so again, this energy with this home stuff for this week was very prevalent. Let's see if we have any more programs that came out this week. Let's see. Okay, I just want to make sure because, yep. So now we're going to go switch to the FAA stuff. I mean, there was a lot that happened with the FAA, which we said last week that there would be something something that happened with the federal aviation, like on like it was going to be some type of law that was passed this week, or something that come out about something with the airlines itself. It could have. I said it looked neutral, but it looked more positive. It looked more positive to benefit the people. So we do have that element, but also we have some disturbing things that the airlines, like Boeing in particular, have been that's involved with their whistleblower. A second whistleblower died. I want to say yesterday from that worked for Boeing, that blew the whistle on what Boeing the airline was doing, knowing what they were doing with these faulty parts and janky system, their janky airplanes. And he was, I guess, talking about the manufacturing quality and all that. And he ended up dead. And this is the second whistleblower that was going to testify against Boeing about what had happened. And so that's very suspicious. But nonetheless, let's cover some things that happened. So on May 1st, we have this bill, first in it hurdle ahead of May 10th. Okay, I don't know what all this is, but they're trying to figure out this reauthorization of the Federal Aviation Administration. And so that final piece of legislation is supposed to, I guess, be concretized or whatnot. But let's see. Okay, so we have this bill, but something happened with Ted Cruz uh, this week. I'll share that he actually wants to make sure that airlines don't have to refund your money. And so the policy that actually came out this week actually makes it easier to get your money. And so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But Ted Cruz, he talking about, and this was also April 30th. This was Tuesday. So this was April 30th when this came out. So Biden issued a new rule requiring automatic refunds from airlines if a flight is delayed or canceled. Okay, so Ted Cruz, they're starting something where they want to undermine that rule by requiring passengers to submit written or electronic requests to get the full refunds. That's kind of stupid. But yeah, we said there would be something with these airlines that was going to buzz this week. It could have been relating to, mainly it was relating to the FAA and the law. That's the energy that we picked up um, on last Friday. And so again, this is not the one I want to show. Don't pay attention to this one because that one's not the one that I want to show. Okay, so we got aerospace. Colleague. Okay. So again, we do have more stuff with the FAA and even the deployment of artificial intelligence. So this was also published on Monday. The federal faces unique challenges. Okay, so they planning on working with NASA. The FAA is planning on working with NASA to try to see what kind of AI technologies they want to use in the airspace system. So be on the lookout for that. And so they're talking about a lot of the AI risk management methodologies and best practices. So they're investing in research and development relating to this artificial intelligence. So the FAA, this aviation industry, if anybody that may be working in that's something good to know, because you want to, maybe you need to start to plan, if this is really going to be a threat, if the AI can be a potential threat to what you're doing, especially with traffic controllers. And if they start to use artificial intelligence for traffic controllers and things like that, that can affect a lot of people's jobs. And so, if you're working in that industry, the point of us even doing these weekly tarots is to actually be helpful in people's lives. Like, it's not just to think about what's going to happen next week. Like, we really want to actually, if we see things coming in advance, and we know we pick up on things, then you can jump on it if it's relevant to you. And so um this FAA trying to link up with the AI, it may be something to pay attention to, for sure. And it was just published this, we said they were going to be doing things with FAA this week, and a lot of things popped off with FAA. They arguing about the bill and the new FAA rules. That was Ted Cruz is challenging what happened with the FAA bill this week. And so we got the Teamsters. They endorsed the FAA Reauthorization Act on Monday as well. And so the FAA Reauthorization Act includes priorities to protect workers and passengers alike. So the Teamsters Union is endorsing them. This is the International Brotherhood of Teamsters. And so they represent 1.3 million workers in the U.S. alone. Okay, so what they're endorsing is maintaining the mandatory pilot retirement age at 65. Really? Why didn't y'all lower it to 60? Combating the outsourcing of aircraft maintenance, protecting airline employees from assault, including both passenger service agents and flight attendants, creating new pathways for veterans to become aircraft technicians, and protecting Teamsters represented manufacturing jobs from unfair competition by Chinese state-owned enterprises. Okay, so they still going. So that was another thing that came up with FAA this week. And everything, we got one more for FAA or aerospace. We got a couple more. Yeah, we have a couple more. So this week they was acting a plum fool about this change to the FAA bill, and this was yesterday. I'm sorry, May 1st. This happened May 1st. So they're arguing about this FAA reauthorization bill. And they got really heated, apparently. Okay, so this is something with Senator Dan Sullivan and Senator Tom Carper's staff. Okay, so just more bread and circus. It looks like, well, just more bread and circus. Don't really mean anything at the end of the day. That one doesn't. That one. Anytime some politics is arguing about some bill, no, that doesn't matter. Okay, so we got this came out yesterday. The Aerospace Industry Association urges Congress to invest in FAA. So, everything that we said last Friday pretty much came to pass. We knew it was going to be something with FAA and Congress and the laws, and we knew there was going to be something with airlines, which we got Boeing. I'm going to show y'all what happened with that the whistleblower that just died. But everything that we said was going to happen this week happened. Okay. So they want Congress to invest more in the FAA. We'll see. And they trying to get into the AI field. They want to have AI take over the traffic controller and probably pilot the damn airplanes and stuff. I mean, you never know. Or had the AI robots being the flight attendant and all that shit. And so that's the part that should be a little worrisome. To some people. Let's see what else we got here. So back on the topic that we talked about with the jobs, which is the previous week, it was not last week, it was the previous week before that, when we talked about major changes in like the hiring practices and whatnot that kept coming up. And so even though it's been on the second week of when we said that would happen, I mean, we see Biden administration pushes for skill-based hiring for tech talent. And so this is very important for those, especially for the young youth that don't really know. They still may be enamored with the degree thing in college. This whole government, I'm telling you, it's coming from the top down. It is backed by the federal government. And I showed you last week how the governors were all banding together to come up with initiatives to do skill-based hiring over degree-based hiring. And so, as you can see right here, goodbye degree requirements. The Biden administration is pushing for skill-based hiring for tech talent. But I have to say, this is also in addition to the government, the executive branch pushing it. The governors are all looking to push this too on a state by state level, but they are working together on this. And so, what that means for the Black American or the American citizen that's watching this, what the degree stuff is going to become less and less. You're going to have to work on your skills. But what is brilliant about that and beautiful about that is it's merit based on skills. And so, Black American, now you have an opportunity to actually, if you were locked out of a college degree or didn't want to take on debt, and well, rightfully so, of course, and you felt like the degree you didn't, school is not for you or whatever. Now you have the opportunity to just work on the skills in nanotechnology, artificial intelligence, robotics, obviously programming, software engineering. All of those things is now skill based. So you could start that skill at 13, 14, 15, 16. That's a beautiful thing for for parents that's raising you young boys and young girls, you 12, you 13. You put their ass up in them coding schools for the summer boot camp and all that stuff. And they'll be, I'm telling you, they will be within 12 weeks, they could legally and literally be a software engineer and they pick up on that programming. Some of these kids be real fast, and so they will learn how to program in Ruby and JavaScript and HTML, C++, Python. They'll learn that in a year. Literally, they'll learn Python and JavaScript in 12 weeks now. 6-month program. And we're talking about where you getting hired, once you get them type of skills, those type of languages now, you can potentially work at a Google or Microsoft, whatever it is, Apple, whatever it is, doing programming, machine learning, TensorFlow, all types of things they got now. All these different types of deep learning and data analytics. They're going to need people to know that. And so the beautiful thing that, Black people, we was sending our kids to college and all this stuff, we can continue to do that depending on the field, but there's an alternative where you can start just skill based so early now. We're talking 11, 12, 13, 14. By the time they 16, we talking about they on that Mark Zuckerberg shit on that computer where they can hack into. Remember that 13-year-old that hacked into Bank of America? Remember the 14-year-old that hacked into the Pentagon? I mean, come on. I'm not saying anybody do no shit like that. I'm just saying, like, that's the level of intelligence that a 13-year-old can gain from learning computer programming. In terms of that's just my extreme example. But these kids learn it's skill based now. It's going skill based, and it's very important that you young youth and younger people that's still trying to figure out. So if you got, I'm pretty sure an older crowd listen to me, and maybe you have teenage kids or whatever, or have a son, or a daughter. It may be wise to focus on the skills. They got apprenticeship programs, for construction. And I did an apprenticeship program in high school for construction. And no lie, they was willing. This was a state program. It was real hard in the cut to find. But I went to Hutch Tech, and so we used to get first dibs on some of them type of resources. And we found out about the program, and a lot of my friends from Hutch Tech, we all applied together. We went in, and they would pay us. Not only that, it was an apprenticeship for construction, and they was paying us every 2 weeks just to learn whatever they wanted to teach us. And we didn't appreciate it. We didn't really care, because we just wanted that money. And then in the summer, they were going to start us at $25. You got to figure, we were 16 years old, and This was in 2008, I want to say 2008. And so $25 an hour as a 16-year-old for the summer. I mean, this is they was going to pay us this shit. This was a state sponsored program that was in the cut. And guess what? It was nothing but black kids in it. And yeah, we acted a fool and that plum fool and they shut it down. I didn't act a fool. But yeah, the black kids from McKinley and Burgard and the other schools, they acted a plum fool. The kids at Hutch Tech, I mean, we was the best acting kids. We were actually interested in the shit. And there was a lot of females too in there. And they loved that. They was loving that, it was females that was black females getting into construction, and it was a cool little thing. But you know, um, and other people had previously been graduating from the program and actually getting in the field of construction in high school. And this was in 2008. So it's about to go back skill based. So vocational programming is going to be really cool. The vocational schools that teaches some of these, because it's going to be a lot of machine building. It's a lot of obviously the software aspect of where we're moving in terms of the digital space, Internet of Things, big data, analytics, machine. Those people are going to have to actually learn the computer programming, the languages, and whatnot. But there's also the mechanic aspect of it, the hardware aspect. So people are still going to have to learn some of the hardware because you're going to be building these robotics. You're going to be building these smart apparatuses or different things of that nature. And so you're also you're still going to have to learn how to do things relating to manufacturing and like electricity and whatnot. And so those welding, of course, so those things are still going to be available as well. So, knowing that, I'm telling you, we covered it last week, knowing that they're going back to skill-based hiring and they're planning this out. See, the governors, they're now coming up with the program as we speak. And so, again, this is the beautiful thing of us even doing these weekly tarots, is because now that they're going to skill based. And so that if you need to do a 6-month or 3-month certification and brush up on some skills, you jump on it now because the degrees are going to be obsolete. And which we kind of knew that. I ain't gonna hold you. Like a lot of us that got a lot of degrees and whatnot, we kind of already knew that, but we were already trying to put down a whole nother move for other things we had going on in our lives. We were trying to start some business or trying to buy some time installed and figure out what the fuck we want to do. To be honest, a lot of us kind of know the deal. But back in the day, it was a thing of pride. It was a thing of pride, and it still should be. You know what I mean? It takes time and effort and some modicum of intelligence to sit your ass, go get up, wash your ass to go to class, early and whatnot, and sit your ass in that chair and learn what they got to tell you and apply it and work in groups and shit and figure out the case studies and whatever else it is and pass and do that for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 12 years, however long you've been in school, especially at the PhD level. And so, it takes that means something in terms of understanding systems and processes. Application is a little bit different, but again, with the degrees, what they need to be doing is offering maybe a 1-year certification, and in your second, third, fourth year, they need to be getting people into internships now, as I know the powers that be listening. But what I'm now is an opportunity for the universities themselves to go internship based. They're gonna have to go application based and start serving as internships themselves, the departments in these universities, because it's going to be obsolete. They need to actually hands-on skill based application of these positions and show. And so the certification for the skills take about 1 year to 6 months, and then you just need to throw their ass out on the floor, like simulated internships that these universities need to. That's how they need to develop their curriculums. That's how they need to develop the classrooms around internship based simulations. They could be remote based, group based, corporate based, but it's a simulation that when you're actually going to quote unquote class, that you're going into a application simulation. The classrooms get transformed. We have amazing VR technology, augmented reality. Get on it, you know. And what those students would do is they would be applying. They would be in like a simulated internship by their second year of their 4 year degree, you know. um and maybe third year, maybe second is a little extreme, you know, but depending on the field. And since we know, like, a lot of these, and another thing was physical and skill based, a lot of these majors need to be cut out. Let's be real, like history and what's it, English, and I mean, come on, poetry, a bachelor's degree in poetry and all this shit. Come on, like a lot of that shit, like, and I'm not one to talk because I studied, my bachelor's degree is in sociology, so I'm not sitting here judging whatever. And I love sociology, like I actually love learning about that shit. I love my motherfucking major. I graduated with a 3.83 as summa cum laude. You know, I was a summa cum laude, president of the honors program, all types of shit. So, you know, I enjoyed sociology, but you know, it's like, really. And I went to high school for computer engineering, and I was thinking about just continuing, but I wanted to study something different. I wanted to go into the qualitative sciences, the social sciences. That was just where my mind was at 18. What the fuck does an 18-year-old know? And then, you know, if you first generation old college and all that stuff, it ain't like somebody gonna guide you and say, you need to think about income and return on investment with these degrees. You got to think on return on investment, you know. And so, nonetheless, we know it's going skill based, and so once again, that's the opportunity for you to get your ass in one of these vocational programs, right? If you can do it in high school, do it in high school. If you can do it out of high school, for those that even have the high school kids. But also, if you are 20, 21, 22, and you don't really know what the fuck you're doing, you still at home with mama, this is your opportunity to get some skills. Seriously. You could do a 6 month Java program. What's it? They got some of the more higher paying ones, and then they kind of paying, they kind of jipping software engineers now. Software engineer, I mean, used to get your bang for your buck, you know, in that field. You know, you used to be getting $80 an hour and shit, and it was definitely a 6 figure income. But all these immigrants started coming over, and they're working for less in the software engineering field, and the field got, I mean, the field went down considerably in income. And maybe not for the senior developers and, you know, junior developers, but like entry level. I mean, it used to be a prestige to go and learn software engineering because you knew you was going to at least be making 70K at 22 years old. And I've seen it. Like, I remember like thinking like, dag, I should have studied that field. I should have just stuck with computer science, because them kids, they came out at 22 years old and was making 72K. And it's a fact, and there's some that can vouch and say, yeah, that's true. Um, but nowadays, that's not the case. You go in for computer science for 4 years, thinking you about to go and get you one of them jobs, and that entry, I think they slice that shit down to like 45. I mean, some people they paying for 30, 35, 45K. That's crazy. And then they doing a lot of contract stuff with the software engineers too, and so, you know, it's not, the field is not the same anymore. But then you got other things that are still marginally better, you know, especially with it going towards nanotechnology, AI, and data analytics. So there's still some room for growth in that field for sure, especially with the AI stuff. So skill based Black Americans, that means, you know, this construction, your carpentry, your welding, your electricity, uh, HVAC. What else? What other things they got? They got certifications, and of course software engineering. I think we might have said that one already. They even cut in the nursing degrees. Did y'all know that they cut in? They a lot of these schools are getting rid of their nursing programs. They're gonna be doing skill based. This stuff is gonna switch. The university is gonna switch. The system is dying, and so it's in need of a 5D renovation. Like, it has to evolve, and so they know that it's unsustainable to have these students paying that kind of ridiculous amount for tuition and room and board and whatever else and bullshit, and have no actual application or real world experience. Have done no internship, none of that. I mean, if you may get an internship at the master's level, but you don't really get an internship experience at the bachelor's level. I did because I had applied um, for one just on on my own. Um, but for the most part, there's really no internship requirement for the bachelor's level. Um, Not in any substantial sense, at least. And so I would say the schools need to evolve, and that's what's happening. And then they bringing in all these illegal immigrants and legal immigrants, and they don't have American education, but they still need the bodies in them seats as far as the work production and the labor. And so they're slashing them degree requirements for that as well. Remember, they was trying to push it the opposite for a while, like, oh, you can't have this job unless you got a bachelor's, you got a master's. They're switching it around. There's going to be skill based. Are you abreast on your technical skills, your computer skills, your PowerPoint, your Microsoft, your Excel, your C++, HTML, CSS? They're gonna be looking at that type shit. Do you at least know Java? Do you at least know Python? How many experience do you have in coding? That's the question that's gonna be on these job applications. How much experience do you have in data analytics? How much experience do you have in clinical research? How much experience? What is your skill base? What is your how long what is your level in construction? Are you at the intermediate, beginners? Uh, what's the other one? Intermediate, senior, junior. They're gonna be asking that type shit, and so the skills become important. But luckily, I mean, you can learn computer. You can learn pretty much anything in the computer field starting at the age of 13. So if you got kids that's age 12, 13, you get their ass right in them damn coding programs. So by the time they 18, they at the Steve Wozniak level of coding and shit. They a beast in coding and hackathons and shit. That's what we got to do to prepare for this coming age that they about to switch on us, because they know, guess what, they know so many Black Americans and Americans went and got them 4-year degrees and whatnot and all this stuff, and these bachelors and all this stuff, and they know that they don't necessarily have the skill, and they're overemployed, and so they switched it up on everybody, knowing that they really don't have the type of the income to pay them levels that they was paying back in the day when you had those degrees. Like the job market, I mean, it's not really what it's not what it used to be. And so skill based is what we see coming. And it's very important. It came up so many times. This was April 29th. Now, last week, we covered all the skill based things that they were doing with the governor's initiative that they started last week. We saw that. Okay. And so here go. Let's see what this one is. Goodbye degree requirements. Okay, so what is this one? Training. Okay, because we said it was going to be changes with the military training and all that stuff as well. So let's show you this. There was some changes to the training that pretty much leave our military less ready for a fight. And this was published yesterday. So we had said that there was going to be changes in the requirements and in the criteria for military. We said that on Friday, and then this comes out May 2nd. So changes to training forced by the budget cuts could leave military less ready for a fight. So they're skipping on the training, the changing in the requirements. Like we said, it was something with the degree requirements, like training with the military. And so it's true. Wow. Mm-mm-mm. So let's look at the other one that we saw. And so once again, we also had the Marine Corps changing their way of teaching. So they're ditching different models as well. And this was May 1st that came out. The Corps is changing the way the Marines learn, and how their instructors are charged with preparing them for the fleet. Okay, so here once again we have changes in the requirement, changes in the curriculum, like we said was going to happen with military this week, and it happened. And so another thing that we saw, well, this is not something that we necessarily mentioned. However, it did catch my eye because, um, when it comes to, they said May 1st is usually when college decision day, but FAFSA problems are causing delay. And so this was also something that I just wanted to share with you guys for those who were wondering what was going on with FAFSA, because again, a lot of you may have kids that's waiting on this information, and so they released a 24-25 version that's new compared to the forms of the past. And so it causes a lot of glitches in the processing in the computer system. And so many of the FAFSAs had to be rescanned. So if you have college students that have not yet gotten a decision on their award, that's the reason why. Or if you haven't seen that it's been processed, it's a glitch. It's been multiple glitches, and they did not test the rollout. They did not, get the form in alignment with the legacy systems, and so it caused processing problems, and it is leading to major delays. So usually students get their award letters in March, but they're not getting them. And so if you are under a deadline to choose which school, many of the schools have pushed back their deadline. So if you're a parent of someone that's trying to get a FAFSA decision, that's why. So I thought that was really that kind of goes in hand when we talked about with the skill based. I really wanted to touch upon that as well. So now the last thing that I want to show you guys before we get into this week's reading, I know, thanks for your patience, um, is the second Boeing whistleblower died. So remember we said it was going to be something with these airlines and these airplanes that was major this week. And so in addition to the FAA law changes and the reauthorization and act and what they're doing with that this week, we have the second Boeing whistleblower died. Yeah, this was Tuesday morning, and they said that he had a sudden fast spreading infection. It's the second one though, and so he was the one that told that the mechanics were improperly drilling holes in the air pressure buckhead of the planes. And so I guess they did not want him to talk about these type of things and testify, because Boeing is under hot fire. Boeing is under a lot of hot fire from their practices, and so they want to save their profits and their money and their reputation. So of course they're going to knock off whoever gets in the way of that. And the people that they're knocking off apparently don't have much protection, and also is underestimating how ruthless these big time corporations are. They will pay to get your ass targeted. They will pay to get the blacklist you. They will pay, And so what Boeing, they will pay to kill too. They put a contract for hire out on your ass. And so what Boeing has done is obviously knocked out two of these whistleblowers, and obviously allegedly, I'll say allegedly, because two of them die in the span of 1 month, and they happen to be whistleblowers of trying to spread light on what the hell Boeing was doing that was illegal and that was faulty. Yeah, I do find that mighty, mighty, mighty suspicious. Yeah, I do. Well, so this is major, and so rest in peace, Joshua Dean. That they knocking people off for trying to speak the truth, and so that's always a sad thing. But yep, that was another thing that happened. So nonetheless, let's move on. to what we have for this week. Let's focus on that. Let me get this prepared for you guys. Matter of fact, I'll put my links for where you guys can reach me if you guys do want a reading yourself. Um, we'll put the links there. That's to call, or you can we could do live chat here, and here you can do book on Etsy or my store. You choose your time, how long you need, and whatnot, and I will be available for you. And so this week, I really want to see what's going to happen. I know y'all saw that Kendrick Lamar, this, well, not, it's not really a diss, but he just released something 8 hours ago. The second one, I think it's called like 616 or something like that. And I have to say, I love the lyrics, but not as a diss. You know, I don't even know why they beefing. It might, to me, a lot of that stuff be staged. It is metaphysical, since we on talking about metaphysical topics. It was a hella codes in that one, that beef between Drake and Kendrick. But you know, it's the game that they play, and they want Kendrick to play that game. And Kendrick is really, he's over it. He's over it. He's not really thinking about that. And so, also here's the links to my book. I just released my 19th book this week, actually, called Alternative to Freemasonry. It's the Nakhti Queen Mothership, protocols and tenets, and talking more about the Nakhti philosophy and the original version of monarch mentalism. And so, and what we stand for as an order. And so, you know, so I enjoy writing. Is 268 pages long, so I mean, I enjoyed writing that book. So I just released it. Maybe I should share it. I don't ever really share my stuff because I'm again, I'm content with just teaching. Like I'm not a salesperson. I'm not trying to be. But I do love to write books, and so this was my latest book. I'm trying to look for it now on Amazon and make sure that I know I published it. Let's see. Oh, okay, here we go. So here is the book. Yep. And so, Nakhti Queen Mothership Order, Alternative to Freemasonry. And so we talk about a lot of things in this book. We talk about Black American Hoodoo, intergalactic mentalism, the Nakhti philosophy, Shakti teachings, different occult knowledges, occult sciences, rather. Um, it's interesting. We talk about bloodlines. It's deep. I'll just say that it's not for the lighthearted, but again, it's all to encourage enlightenment and love and true sisterhood and brotherhood and humanity. And so, you know, that's that. And so, yeah, back to what I was trying to say. That beef with Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Sometimes, I mean, I think it could be staged. I do. I think it could be staged sometimes. But also they have like look like they little murder reality game. I don't know. It's a book by Pearson Beck if you guys are interested in what I'm talking about. It's a murder reality game. That is the game that is being played in Hollywood when it comes to like you gotta play the game to go to the next level, or you haven't been in the, you know, it's an industry inside thing. And so if you look at the Drake this with that he did with the AI with Tupac and Snoop Dogg's voice. When you read them lyrics and you really study it, it's like your numbers up. You gotta put somebody up. You haven't you in this industry, you got one foot in and one foot out. And Kendrick don't fuck with the industry like that for a reason. Okay. And so, you know, Drake is calling him out like, you know, you got to get back in the game, but it's on a much deeper level than what you guys can see. You guys probably, oh yeah, he means getting into rapping and getting into. No, it's much deeper. Okay, Drake took out how do I say it? It's not a took out like it's not like that type of. We talking about spirit. It's this. There, Drake is a wizard. Let's be real. Drake is a warlock. He's calling himself Six God. He loves his little owl. He is a Jew by blood. Uh, I mean, this he don't, he doesn't hide it. He doesn't. You can look at the lyrics. He throw out a lot of codes in his lyrics. Believe it or not, he's a very brilliant esotericist. I don't care for him much else outside of that, and barely that because I think he's too undisciplined. Um, and I'm not trying to. I'm just saying. Like I admire. I don't want to be biased because I am very partial to Kendrick Lamar. I'm not even gonna hold you. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like I'm very partial to Kendrick Lamar. And so I've tried to, you know, not take sides, but I end up taking sides off rip. Like I'm telling you, I'm a big Kendrick Lamar fan. So um I tried. But Drake, he's talking on a much deeper level. Like, no, get you gotta you. I'm challenging you. It's kind of like the game Shaman King. I mean, it's an anime show called Shaman King. Watch that show when they're talking about the oversouls and the battles that they do in the occult world. Like the it's like a battle, a spirit. It'd be a spiritual battle to see who's the Shaman King. Okay, so I'm speaking in code. Well, for those who get it, you'll get it. Like, no, they in the industry. They know exactly what time it is. I know y'all read Kendrick's verse and lyrics and know he knows some shit. He knows something. And so Kendrick told, I mean, Drake told Kendrick, you got to play. We want to see what's up. We calling you out. We calling you out. And you see the way Kendrick responds. And he's talking about the industry and he don't want to, he's worried about his family, his dad. Like, I really don't care about this industry stuff. I don't care about the fame. I don't care about going to the next level. You know, it's more so Drake is like, you ready to be initiated or not? You ready to go to the next level or not? We ready to roll. We gotta be calling you. That's like that situation where Oprah told Dave Chappelle, when we call, you follow the orders, you do what we ask you to do, no matter what is asked. Remember in that interview, watch that interview when she told him that. That's how this industry works. Y'all do know that, right? So, and it's, I'm not just making that up. It's an interview with Oprah. Everybody knows the Oprah and Dave Chappelle interview. That part where he said they make the handlers make you feel like you got to do everything. And Oprah say, what did you think we was giving you all this money for? What, we ain't giving you no motherfucking $50 million check. Like, no, when we call and we say we gotta play, you gotta you do what we ask. No, and she said no matter what it is at any time of the day, and that's how it really rolls. And so Drake is pulling his little rank. He's pulling his rank on industry wise, not rap, not musically wise, not spiritual wise, even, right? Industry wise, he's pulling rank on him. Like, oh, it's time to play. Like, I'm you ready to get initiated to go to the next level or not? Like, we got something for you to do, and Kendrick is not interested. That's why everybody want to notice. Everybody want to beef with Kendrick Lamar all of a sudden. J. Cole want to beef with Kendrick Lamar. The other dude want to beef with Kendrick Lamar. They trying to. The industry is taunting him. They still. I mean, he's out of it. He's not in a contract with was it TDE, Top Dog Entertainment, anymore. Knows was his peoples and whatever he knows before he even got in the industry. But he's living his life. He still goes to the park in Compton and do exercise. And could he be replaced? I don't get into all that. But for me, I think that's still Kendrick, and I still think that he, like he said, and that, like, people put codes out. These are not just. I know you think they just stupid rappers, whatever. No, he's a master at word science. And in that song, all right, when he said, I know it's illegal. Matter of fact, let me Google because it was so deep. And pardon my tangent. We're gonna get to the reading, babies. Don't worry. Don't worry. But this part right here. Okay, let's see. I'll share this. Okay. Okay, this right here. This right here is powerful. Anything, see, my name is Lucy. I'm your dog. Motherfucker, you can live at the mall. I can see the evil. I can tell it. I know when it's illegal. I don't think about it. I deposit every other zero. Thinking of my partner. Put the candy paint. painted on the Regal. He telling, I know that this shit they doing in this industry with this spirit swapping and all this shit that they got to do to go to the next, it's illegal. He said, I know, I can see the evil. I can tell it. I know when it's illegal. I don't think about it. He was like, I'm not thinking about this fucking industry. I'm getting my money. I'm getting the fuck out. I'm playing. I'm getting this amount and this much at this level, making this money, and I'm dipping out. I deposit every other zero. I don't think about it. He just let me deposit these zeros. Let me get this money. Get the fuck out of this industry. It's right in front of you. Thinking of my partner, put the candy painted on the Rigo, dig it in my pocket. Ain't a profit big enough to feed you. Every day, my logic, get another dollar just to keep you in the presence of your Chico. Right there is as clear as day. I don't talk about it. Be about it. Every day I see cool. If I got it, then you know you got it. Heaven, I can reach you. That's all cold. Heaven, I can reach you. He's like, I'm getting my I'm a play, I'm a go in at this level, get this amount, do up to this point, and I'm getting the fuck out and get out of Dodge. He playing the game and seeing if he can beat the game. You know, because once most people you never strike a deal with who, because most of these motherfuckers is not you're not smart enough to outsmart them. Some people are though. Some people are. You got a Michael Jackson that was able to do it. You got people that are smart enough to get it to play that game and get the fuck on out. But they still ended up killing his ass, but making him a sacrifice. But I mean, we're talking about the way he was getting out of certain deals and things, so where he can end up somehow in the position of the ownership of half of the ownership of Sony and shit, and Beatles catalog, and yeah, mad people's catalog, just random ass people's catalog. And so, you have a situation like sometimes where you actually play and win, but most of the time, you're not. And so Kendrick, I got a feeling he might have got in and was able to get out and won, and don't want to get back in that shit. You don't want to get back in that murder of reality game. If you guys know what I'm talking about, go get that book by Pierre Sabek, Pierre Sabek, Sabak, and it's called Murder of Reality. And you will understand how if you were looking to play that bullshit game, that's pretty much a book teaching you what's going on in the music industry, with sacrifice, what you got to do to get to the next level, who you got to give up, what humiliation ritual you got to do, who's behind it, then the fellow and the watchers, all that shit. It's a deep ass book. The dude is a scholar. I mean, he's a brilliant scholar. He put that stuff. It took him years to write that. So it's some good research. It's some good research. But nonetheless, they're calling him out to play that game again. That's what this is about. And he don't want nothing to do with it. That's why when you read the lyrics of Kendrick Lamar New Dis, please bear with me. I really wanted to cover this topic, honey. Was it 616, right? Yeah, like it's survival. Like it's right there. It's right there in front of our faces. It's survival. It's survival. I think somebody lying. Smelling up somebody lying. And so watch this part. Me jumping planets immortalized. I correspond. 3 angels watching me all the time. Put my children to sleep with a prayer, then close my eyes. Definition of peace. Tell me who gonna stop me. I came from love. Estelle covering my heart, then open them up. Remember when picked up a pen, lyrics that I can trust. Timid soul stare in the mirror. But I live in circadian rhythms of a shooting star, the mannerisms of Raphael. He's talking about an archangel that I can heal and give you art. But the industry's cooked as I pick the carcass apart. They wait and they need something from him that's holding a lot of shit up, back up in the industry, and they're not telling the public about it. So this is much deeper. And again, this could be when they said, we need you in the West. We need you in the West. These are warlocks that need certain energy markers to carry out which rituals, whether it be in the West, whether it be in the North Quadrant, West Quadrant, South Quadrant. Okay, these are actually, they're telling them they need him for a fucking ritual. To just be frank, we need you. And he don't really want to get down with that shit no more. And that's why he said, we need you in the West. Then I read the lyrics. It's time to play. It had been a minute. it's deeper than that. It's deeper than what you guys think. And so he's holding up stuff. It's something that they want him for, and he's holding up the whole play because he don't want to fuck with that industry no more. So they wanted the J. Cole to get at him. J. Cole back up and said, "Nah, I ain't doing it." They had some other guy come out with a beef with Kendrick. Then they come out with another person, and so that's what this is. It's that's what it's really about. They want to have they have something they have a ritual they gotta do, and Kendrick, they need him in the West Quadrant, and Kendrick is like, I really don't want to play. I don't want to get back into that. I don't want to play that game because he might have won it. I got a feeling that he won it. He's one of the ones that won it, and he's not going to talk about it. He's not going to, but he says it in his songs. If baby, when I get you, I want to be the ride because I want you, and then he talking about Lucy talking to him. I remember, but that's all the code science is just right in front of your ass. It's just right. It's right there. I don't. I mean, it's literally telling you what's going on right there. They're not hiding, not a thing. And so, uh, this is what this is about: murder reality, 5D chess, occult chess that they want them to come on, and they play. It's fun to them. For some of them at a certain level, it'd be fun to gamble like that. I mean, what else you gonna do with all that damn money? And I mean, the rappers level is real low level, okay? But Kendrick has a chance to get out of that. This is what Drake is trying to proposition to him, really. They're doing this little publicity spot. They're getting a lot of energy off of it, a lot of money off of it. Um, but Kendrick is like, Drake is literally telling, like, we ready to make a move and you can go up higher than this damn rapper shit you got going on. We ready to really bring you in. We talking about, like, the next Jay-Z type thing, nigga, because they looking for the next. Come on, I mean, we seen what happened with P Diddy, so they looking for another Negro, NHIC, HNIC, head nigga in charge. They looking for another one of them, okay? Because they about to, the sun is setting on some of the current black executives at that level, right? And so they looking to bring in Kendrick Lamar straight up. He has the Pulitzer. He's an actual rapper. He's actually hip hop. And they allowed that. They used his energy marker to balance the rest of the industry out. If you guys didn't know that, because you always have to balance you have to balance it out. Believe it or not, him as one rapper balances out on an energetic level. The balances out the high amount of toxicity that you see coming out of the industry. They always want to fund the Sexy Reds, the Kodak Blacks, the 21 Savage, and they 20. I'm not coming at these people. I'm not saying they're not talented. I'm just saying they with a certain message, more cater to the hood, okay, cater to more hood ratchet life, and so that is a genre, that is a demographic that loves Sexy Red or whatever. So they cater to more of that. And then it becomes oversaturated because then other expressions of hip hop and Black American status itself doesn't get shown. And so that's by design. And so what they did was use Kendrick to balance out all of that. They usually have one. J. Cole and Kendrick are those quote unquote equalizers, but they can only have two. They're not about to have a bunch of, because obviously look at how much Kendrick has sold. So conscious rap and good rap will sell. They know that. So it's not a matter of it's not sellable. You can't use that. You can't make money off of it. This they want is it's they need a certain frequency that they want things operating at, and so they have to monitor. They can't they're not going to have a 10 people that's on the same level of Kendrick, all in the industry rapping about the same type shit, about blacker the berry, sweeter the juice, and they want us to fall down on our knees and pray to God that we don't believe that. None of that. They don't want none of that. Talking about the things he was talking about in Shireen, and we know, and just the expression of art itself. The Wesley Theory, they don't like they're like no. We want these niggas doing the mush mouth, what the Kodak Blacks with the lean and the Percocet and Molly Percocet, and that's what we want. We don't want none of that shit y'all talking about. But they at the same time they have to balance it out. They have to balance it out, and so they brought in Kendrick, just like Lauryn Hill, believe it or not, was it one of those equalizers. You see how that drove her, because they was really about to suck her. They was about to suck her soul. They wanted her. I mean, she had such a light, and she's so talented. And so when it comes with her, she was used as the equalizer to balance out what they were trying to do, especially with the gangster rap era. With NWA and all these things coming out, they used her as an equalizer for the entire industry with Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And you see how she ran out of that industry quick, fast, in a motherfucking hurry. Whew. But she was one of those as well. But then them type always generally leave. Again, they already have a predictive a profiling of the person's reaction in the industry, what they're going to do, how long they're going to last, what they're going to produce, how much money they can make. And so they already knew that Lauryn Hill and people like Kendrick Lamar, they're going to come in, get this money, and get the fuck on. Or they really going to denounce the whole industry, like a DMX did. Okay? They already knew that about DMX as well. They already marked DMX as a sacrifice. They already been marked DMX as a sacrifice. Lauryn Hill was marked as that too, but her ancestors are so powerful. Her peoples are so powerful. They protect her. She's her people. She's so powerful spiritually. That's why. But if they could have did what they did with DMX and Prince, they would have did that shit to her too. But when it come to when it come to Kendrick Lamar, they asking him to play, to put someone up, or to come to next move, or he gonna have to or he gonna be the what. Okay. But Kendrick Lamar is of the bloodline, okay? And he is a part of an ilk in an order where he is protected. And also he he got in, played whatever he did, whatever, but he's because now we get into bloodlines when it comes to Drake and Kendrick, and we know it's interesting because Kendrick is very much aware that he is Lakota Indian, and that he is of Hebrew Sephardic blood. He knows that, and so now you have this Black American, full blood Black American who has a certain pedigree, and then you have Drake who's white Jew, by blood. And so Jew is his mother, so he's technically a full-blown Jew in their eyes by law. And then you have a Black American father. But that Black American father, and see, this is why Drake is at where he's at in the industry as well, because y'all think it's just the mother Jew blood that got him up there, and that's really connecting him. It's that father's blood too. Don't think that they don't know who is who in this damn country. Don't think for a second. Not everybody is the same. I'm not saying all 40 million Black Americans is Jew and all that. I'm not saying that shit at all. I'm not. I'm just saying some of them know who is who. And see, you wonder why, even when you see like I don't want to be getting people's business like that with these celebrities. It's really not important. But sometimes you see like these, Black American executives being very, very, very high, powerful positions. And it's obviously working a part of the system, of course, and doing, and you thinking they Black American, they gonna, they're not, they know exactly who them people are when they come and they know exactly your genealogy and who you're related to. They not letting just random ass niggas up at that level. Yeah, I know that. It's a bloodline. And so you should never be shocked. And that's why Kendrick is where he's at in the industry as well. Pulitzer Prize, extremely, extremely accredited, and has mainstream push as a conscious rapper. And that's from his bloodline and the power that he possesses. We may think that Drake may have a better pedigree because he was at Nickelodeon and he was, what was Drake on Nickelodeon? I know he was on one of them shows. And that he, his mother's a white Jew. He's a Jew, so that means he's going to have more power than everybody in the industry because of that, because he's a full-blown Jew. Okay, but there's some Black Americans that they know are of that bloodline as well. And so That's why Drake was tapping Kendrick Lamar on the shoulder, like, "You ready to make a move or not? We waiting on you. We waiting on you." He literally says that in the lyrics. We're waiting on you in the West, in the West Conjuring. We ready to make a move. And he's like, "I don't want to play that. I don't want to be a part of the industry. I don't want to play ball. I don't want to be a part of it." That's where he's at with it. And so we have to see what that yields. It's interesting. I look at it from a different angle. And again, it's none of our business really, but they put it out. It's obviously a distraction. It's obviously out there for juicy consumption. Um, but it just, to me, reading these lyrics, I can't read lyrics the same as the average person anymore. Just because of the clairvoyance, but also because of just me studying, like, and learning from other people as well, obviously, of breaking down code. And so it's hard to just to read lyrics. I mean, I wouldn't underestimate these rappers, in terms of the things that they can communicate through their songs, the high level messages that they put through stuff, um, the codes that they try to send to other people to wake up. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how, and I don't, and people may give me slack for saying this, but you'll be surprised how much game and shit that I learned from Kendrick Lamar and Jay-Z. Especially, I mean, I'm telling you, when I would get so down, so down, so down, I would either be playing, I was going to play Kendrick Lamar, which is I Love Myself, or Jay-Z song So Ambitious. I'm so ambitious. No matter, with Pharrell. I would literally play that to get my ass motivated to finish my websites or my business or whatever else I got going. I would have to play that. I would have to play certain songs that I would, for a certain type of energy. And I remember, and again, you have to be careful with what you play. And now I really don't listen to hardly anything mainstream. I don't. But I'm saying back in the day, like 10 years ago, I would have to listen to a Jay-Z So Ambitious, and what's the other one? On to the next one. Oh, I played that out. On to the next one. On to the next one. What was the I'm looking no what's I'm looking good by Pharrell and the clips. But no, that's not Jay-Z. But what's the other one? I mean, there's so many Jay-Z songs that I know. And again, if I catch this like for people like, "Oh, you shouldn't be listening to that," whatever. But for me, I will pick up them damn codes. I would pick up the energy behind, a lot of times they do try to communicate things to those on their frequency and those on their level. Um, whether or not you deem that as good or bad or whatever, but usually we're talking about on the esoteric level. That's the level I'm talking about. At least those that understand the esoteric sciences and nature, esoteric nature. And so they communicate certain things. And so I used to get a lot of stuff from a lot of motivation. I remember, no lie, like we was listening to a song. Um, it was Jay Z. It was Jay Z song. I'll say that. And I remember my nephew said, "Whoa!" Like he just flew back, and he said, "Whoa, what was that?" And I said, "What was that?" He said, "Did you?" He said, there's and there are spirits on these songs, and that's why you have to be very careful what you listen to. I don't listen to nothing these days that I listen to Jay Dilla, but I'm very conscious of the spirit that I'm hearing through a song. You guys know that people pray over their records. They do all types of things. They go up. I mean, they dedicate these records to whole. I mean, come on. You see them videos floating around on the internet. I mean, and so you do have to be very, very careful with the songs you listening to. I'm sometimes I could hear, like, how you have to hear the stuff backwards to hear what they're saying. I don't have to hear it backwards. I can hear the subliminals behind a lot of music, and that's why I don't listen to a lot of stuff. Because I'm telling you, growing up, I'm talking when I was 14, 15, I used to hear subliminals. And I would hear a song and I would be like, that's not what they really mean, though. And they used to really, but some artists, and so at some points, they do like to communicate with those of a certain that they know will understand them, and they will put codes and subliminals in the songs to actually help others on their path. That is a fact. That is something, and I'm aware of that. And so some things if it's a good code and it's making sense, and I'm saying, okay, I peep what you put out, and then I will listen to it. But if within 5 seconds you can hear the spirit behind it, you'll hear it. And so there are definitely spirits in them songs. And like I said, my nephew said, I felt power. There was he was like, there was a spirit that came through that. There was a magic. Like he said, there was something that he said, did you feel it? And he was like, he had chills. I knew what was up. I had already knew the spirits that was on the song. I had already knew what the song was about, the intention behind the song, and what it was meant to do for the audience. And so I was okay with playing it. It's not like I just played this song for my nephew, knowing, oh my gosh, there's some spirit. No, it was I knew, I picked up on the code, and I knew it was for those of that bloodline that will understand that code. And so, yes, I listened to it. I still listen to that damn song because it's a very powerful song. It's a song with Jay-Z and Beyonce, actually. And again, I'm not saying everything they do got codes and is deep, but there are times where you have to actually sit, even with a team of writers or by yourself, and you have to craft. Music is a craft. Music is very powerful, and these are people that are magicians of musician craft itself. Like, these are not just random. Like, these are people that are auto consciously trained in this. So on top of it actually just being a gift, they understand things on different levels. That's why you'll see Jay-Z doesn't write anything down. He could just go in the booth and just off the dome like a griot, just rap and rhyme and actually give out powerful codes on top of that and actually make a logical, coherent sense. So this I'm not caping for any celebrity or putting or praising any celebrity or anything like that, because again, I will encourage anybody to praise anyone else. I wouldn't. Come on now. I'm not saying nobody should be putting anybody on this pedestal or nothing. I'm just saying the things, when it comes to music, when it comes to pedigree and the industry itself, that is a thing that exists. And I wanted to shed more light on the esoteric aspects of it as well. Again, there's subliminal codes in that music. Even in Kendrick music, oh my gosh, you're gonna get so many codes that's not even funny. Even in the music video of I itself, the song I, that music video, even just the music video, on top of the lyrics and the stuff I was picking up, that song literally brought me out of a depression in 2014. 2014 or 2015. Yeah, 2014, I believe. 2015. When did I come out? Whenever that song. Like, so, and then he comes up with the album, and so there's these rappers are they're some of them are actually priests, but some of them are esotericists. They're spiritual. They're spiritual. Whether it's left hand path, right hand path, middle path, Christian, Muslim. These are there. You have to be very spiritual in that industry. And if you're not, then you're gonna just die, or you're gonna just get fucked over. Or sometimes, even if you are very spiritual, like a DMX, who was a clear prophet, DMX ends up, getting they killed him. That they definitely killed him, and he'll tell you that, and it's his family thinks that, and based on what I knew spiritually that went down when he died, I felt when his spirit was gone. I said when he was in that hospital, I said DMX is gone, man, and they doing stuff to him. Like, I was like, they killed him. I remember I was crying. I ain't gonna hold you. I was, because I DMX used to walk around in Buffalo, right? Randomly as hell. Ask anybody in Buffalo. Am I making this up? This is the motherfucking truth. You could see DMX if you was in Buffalo. And he used to be around the corner from where I lived at a bar. Yes, the bar, that bar that was over on Delavan at the corner. I forgot what the street it's on. But DMX would, like, it was so many Black Americans that would be like on that corner of Delavan taking pictures of him, or like the shock that why the fuck are you in the hood in Buffalo? In Buffalo, New York, what the fuck is you doing? And you're a DMX, we loved him, we respect him, we ain't questioned nothing. We knew he was going through things and whatnot. and getting blacklisted and sabotaged in the industry, a genius. But God had, I mean, he was never going to make it that far in that damn industry. His protection, I mean, granted, he made his deal, whatnot. But and that's why you see, I know y'all saw that crazy looking funeral. Oh, but DMX was definitely a prophet of God, and I mean, we're talking about even when you see someone acting a fool, whatever, you think you could judge them. They down on their luck, they doing drugs, whatever. No, you got to see the spirit. You got to look at the spirit, and the spirit is what matters. And when I would look at DMX and I would see his spirit, and it always warmed my heart, even as a little ass kid. Like I'm telling you, like I always saw his spirit. Always saw DMX's good spirit, and I just fucked with him. Especially when you guys remember when he was on the poetry, when he was on Def Jam Poetry with the poem The Industry. I mean, I used to watch that as a little kid. That was my favorite show, Def Poetry Jam. I used to write poetry, by the way. And so yes, I always loved DMX. Every little song he came out with, and his grandma got me and his grandma. I think we shared the first and middle and same last name. Like I was like, that's creepy, and that's his grandma. I was like, what? That is creepy. But that's not my grandma though. But it's like it's two separate people that got the same middle and last name. What the fuck? But that's Black Americans for you. Like we have, that's how we probably all kin somehow. But I just found that hilarious. I'm like, okay, if he's from that clan, and my bloodline is directly from that clan, that means you're the same clan. You'll be related some to that person, probably deep, 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 deep down in the family tree. That's why, like, a lot of times people will respect you based on that clan. Like people that's in the know, they'll look at that surname and they'll judge you based on that. Sure will. And I've seen it in real time. When you see the name Brown, Brown is a very powerful last name in this country, believe it or not. Brown is a very, very powerful surname. And a lot of Black Americans with the last name Brown, you'll see them more successful than the average person. Yes, you will. Study it. You got to study the coat of arms around the name Brown, the surname Brown. And they know who they are. And it's a lot of Black royal Moors with the last name Brown. They know exactly what the hell is up. And you'll see them. It happens every time. I'm telling you, I've studied this. And you talk to your upper Black middle class of the Black women, a lot of those women study heraldry. So they'll be familiar with coat of arms and the information about like the royal Moors and all that shit. They're very familiar with that, by the way. And they'll confirm what I'm saying when you have them type of last names. And again, it's different. You have different. Washington, you have is a powerful last name in this country. Obviously, a lot of the names, they tell about your rank in this bloodline. They do, and that there is a bloodline over here in America, whether you want to admit it or not. Sometimes they'll tell what your bloodline do. Like mine's tell about the priesthood going back on my biological side. On my adopted side, Stanley is talking more about the stonery, stonemasonry. And so, your last name will tell you what you do. Like Cartwrights, those were people that used to do the cart, makes the carts back in the day. Buggy. It's a bunch of last names that actually mean something. It's so many. It's not even funny. And oh man, it's another one that literally means tend to the grass, tend to the grain. You do grain, and these names they go back 1,000 years old. They tell a story of the clan, of an entire clan, and so you'll see certain names more powerful than others. Obviously anybody that's of those bloodline families or founders of military priesthoods, churches, any of those natures, those would be powerful bloodlines in America, even in Europe. Anybody that's from like say like the last name Collins or something like that. That's one of the more powerful bloodlines in this country. What else is another one? Any of those 13. Kennedy, obviously. Kennedy is one. Lee is one, but there's not many. That one's more in China. But the certain last names, they'll tell a story about your clan, and they know that. So that was me going from tangent to tangent as per usual. But yeah, this Kendrick Lamar and this Drake beef. Here's the thing: it's either staged and there's some the reason why I think it's staged because they have to find a way to publicly get at someone about the real true agenda with everybody else going on notice that's also in the know. And so they want it to be known that they need Kendrick for this ritual, for to make him the next move, so he can actually be in this executive position of in the music industry at a high level, say like that of Jay Z or higher. There's a lot of people about to go down. They ready to fill them seats. Okay, and so Drake is up in the running, and he's inviting Kendrick, and Kendrick is like, I don't want to be in that industry. And so there's some pressure. And it's like, we got to give someone up or, or you got to go through your little humiliation ritual coming up. Which one is it? And so, that's what I pick intuitively, but we see the same pattern time and time again with what they do with the beef thing. Study with Tupac and Biggie, and who got into the actual executive big time role position in the music industry as a result of the fucking last beef where they called out to do the Illuminati card game, the murder of reality card game with the beef with Tupac and Biggie. It's right in front of you. Now, this one is obviously not of that nature. They're not that ruthless. Because these are not naive. These are not proxy pawns. Okay, so like when you had Tupac and Biggie, these are definitely proxy pawns in the sense they didn't know what the fuck was being played over their head. It was both a sacrifice. And so they both got done in, and look who went to the top of the top, who went to the executive suites. And so this is what this is about, but it's not on that level where, again, both of these people, Drake and Kendrick, they are communicating as esotericists about the spirit, about how they want to play, and they are on high levels of that nature. This is not just random ass naive niggas that don't know what the fuck is going on. They know exactly what's going on, and so they're communicating to each other in these lyrics, just clear as day. Yeah, but war ready, and he's talking about how am I not to go to war? But war ready if the world is ready to see you bleed. The Elohim KTW. No, you can't sleep. The image trouble you. Know the wires in your circle should puzzle you. See, they was paying people to this is how this industry go. Uh, Kendrick said Drake was trying to pay people to infiltrate Kendrick's circle to get information. I guess this is the murder of reality game. He done mentioned Elohim in here. He has mentioned Raphael in here. He has mentioned I come from love, prayer, three angels watching me all the time, jumping planets, quantum leaping, raise my hands to a fallen sky, God, God. Look how many times God. They telling you right there what this is about. It's spiritual warfare. Are you kidding me? He's saying fuck a phantom. I like to buy out when I'm. This is them. I live in circadian rhythms of a shooting star. The mannerisms of Raphael. But the industries cook as I pick the carcass apart. So they about to go on the spiritual warfare. Or they're already in it. And he's telling him, I'm coming with some heavy ass motherfucking heat for your ass. I'm coming with the Elohim. I'm coming with Raphael. I'm coming with, I got three angels watching me. I can quantum leap, bitch. And I got one of the big dogs on my back. This could be the original. He rocks with Yeshua too, but he's probably talking about the original Lucifer. Yeah, but they ready. It's like, okay, I'm not going in that motherfucking industry. I'm not going to the next level. And if you trying to pull your little bullshit that you pulled last time to try to pull me in it, this is what we working with. And that's probably just the little lightweight stuff that he putting out there. That probably ain't even half of nothing that what he talking about. So he's letting them know I'm ready, man. Like I'm not playing, and but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Because it's interesting. But I know y'all probably just thinking that's just the not y'all, but some people probably just thinking that's just a diss record. It ain't all of that. It ain't none of that. Okay, Drake calls himself the sixth God for a reason. He rocked that little owl and he had them little prayer hands on that album with the sixer. I mean, wake up. Well, I mean, I had to wake up, so I ain't one to talk. I'm telling you, I was walking in the motherfucking days. I was caught in the middle of a whole bunch of shit. I ain't know what the fuck was going on. So I'm damn sure I ain't judging nobody that don't know what the fuck is going on with this industry stuff. I'm not judging. I'm just saying, like, you don't have nobody that will show you the ropes and teach you nothing. You gotta look, you have to study for yourself. And luckily they got a lot of good material out there, and a lot of stuff they took it down off of that YouTube. But you still get some good gems. People will tip you off. I learned a lot. That last Nas song that he came out with, was it called Jesus Peace or something like that? No, Black Magic, right? It was called Black Magic, right? Yeah, the last song that Nas just came out with, man, that song, that was some heavy ass codes that I motherfucking needed at the time, man. That's all I say. That shit, I needed that at that time, man. And you have to pick it up. Some people will put stuff out there to help your ass. They really would. I'm talking about, because again, this is much deeper than what anybody could think. When it comes to the rap, and you think these people are just rappers. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. So he put a lot of shit out that helped my black ass at that time. And I really, I know, sometimes you be thinking of, but it was so many codes, and it helped me. It helped me. It took, I have to say that I don't think if it wasn't for that song and the lyrics in that song, and the stuff that I could put together to pick up out of it, it would have been a rough one. It would have been a rough one. But yes, let's get to what we got for this week. Oh man, I can talk, boy. Ooh, good God. So what's going on for next week? Let's take a look. Let's take a look. And remember, this is the 4th to the 10th of May. So we're looking at world events, if we can find any world events. And then we'll be looking at individual basis for the week as well. Remember, we are looking at the collective unconscious of the earth records. Okay, I'm not conjuring any spirits or waking up, nothing like that. Talking to no spirit guys. I'm not doing that. I'm just looking at a quantum server right now for the earth, and whatever comes out on top is what comes first, is what will be like most likely mainstream that same week. And so that's why you see as you see how things come to pass that same week is because it's the quantum data bits that are the biggest, that form like the biggest patterns out of all the other material that's in the server. And again, this is the earth records, just like you have the Akashic records, just like you have quantum entanglement, and different meters, different tools. The the earth records is a record that goes unnoticed, but believe it or not, for most of like the readings that I do, that's what I use. And so for this week, wow, we got some interesting energy. We got some interesting energy here. There's a lot of as far as I'll do world events first. When we do world, I was gonna do individual because individual is coming to me so much more powerfully. I was gonna go straight into individual. I'm gonna go straight into individual only because the world events are more interesting to me, but also the individual is the only thing that comes first. So for this week, those of you you may find yourself in several scenarios this week, particularly, and maybe it's something coming up that with a distrust of someone in the family or someone or something related to finances or investment. Um, this could be a situation that is about a distrust of something that a family member did with money, and so it seems like some of you guys are going to be walking away from this family member as well to retreat and to do your own self analysis and to get to a better level. So some of you are going to be cutting out some people out of your life, even not relating to finances and money. Okay, but it is a big possibility that you will be cutting someone out of your life. And this could be temporary. It could be temporary. It doesn't look like it's necessarily, long term. It could be temporary, and that's just to for you to get to a better space. If you have anybody that's toxic around you, anybody that had like low self esteem, or maybe you have someone that's not really rooted in reality, they could be a little delusional, or they had some bad habits with their money or drinking. Um, you're gonna feel compelled this week to walk away from anybody of that nature. You could also receive some type of email or text message about, again, if it's a family member relating to finances, to money. This could be investments specifically. It could definitely be that. It could be paperwork about investments or the family itself, something with the older family member or younger family member. That can also be a scenario. But whatever it is, whatever they send you through text or email, it can lead to jumping to conclusions. So you want to be careful about jumping to conclusions this week, and it can lead to a lack of clarity and communication. So if someone reaches you about anything related to money this week, a family member, a friend, text message, email, um, if you feel the need to jump to conclusions, don't try to get some clarity around it. Get clarity around it. Or if it's toxic, like someone asking you for money, say no. Actually, you'll feel better if you say no. So if someone calls you this week, even asking you for some money, um, take a break from them. You're most likely going to want to feel the urge to take a break from them, anyways. Anybody that's doing it, and so you'll find yourself wanting to be on like a bigger search, a bigger quest for self analysis, spiritual retreat, um thinking deeper, like a lot of soul searching. Like there's this feeling of soul searching and even kind of like isolation, like very protective of the heart this week. um Perhaps even questioning your circle or questioning people around you. This could be like feeling just a little distrustful. This could be people in the workplace, family, friends, that causes you just to do a little self isolation, a little retreat of self analysis, soul searching. Some of you may also actually be doing some travel as well. Nice little trip for the weekends, or you got something planned this week or next week, or you might you'll be thinking of that trip or going on it soon. So that's another thing that I see on the individual level. I also see that there can be the feeling of feeling powerless in the middle of the week, like something relating to what could this be? It can relate to the finance department, but it can also relate to mobility or something, not physical mobility, but just a sense of restriction around mobility. I do see that. I see that as something that could occur as well. Another thing with for the individual is that if you have any disorganization or procrastination, you want to try to nip that in the bud, because that's also going to start to make you feel restless and a little powerless in the middle of the week if you don't address it early. And so if you know that you are disorganized this week, if you know you procrastinate, um, you want to try to stay on top of things this week as well. And so that's what I see for the individual level. Okay, so let's look. Let's see if I see some world events. Oh, hey, Crystal Cat and Tris Jackcase. What you saying? Post hypnotic suggestions. Okay. When stop chasing that. When the best is simple. Oh, okay. Very special number. That just got on my bus right now, and the time says 6:16. See, I don't know much about 6:16. I have to say, is that I don't recall it being a master number or anything. So that's interesting. Yep. What's why is it special to you? And yeah, 616. He got a reason why he named it that too, for sure. He got a reason why he named it that too. Um, yeah, I lost my train of thought because this is my first time looking at the comments. I do not normally just be off, and in my world I have different screens up, so I don't actually get a chance to look at the comments. What was I saying with this energy that I was seeing? Oh yes, if you procrastinate or if you're more disorganized, you want to nip that in the bud. Another thing that we were seeing. Oh, we were going right on world events. Yep. So let's see for world events, world events, world events. Okay, I see. Hmm. It looked like a country gonna receive news um that about some aid, of course, this week. Is some country gonna receive some more news about a new aid package, something with new money being sent out and new aid, and it does lead to there's some deception behind this aid. There's something going on. They can even possibly the aid could fall through with this kind of energy that I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing with this in these countries that's about to exchange aid or do whatever they about to do. They don't trust each other whatsoever, and one feels even victimized and more powerless against the other country. But they feel like they got to do what they got to do. It's like some type of negotiation with a country too that could take place in which the negotiation doesn't go through, and the other country walks away. Another event I see, there could be some changes with the way that actual investments are done. This looks like stuff with like Vanguard or like a big time. What are they called? Money market firms or like the big. It's not necessarily a bank, but the ones that's like Vanguard or Goldman Sachs. What's the other one? It's like it could be something changing in a way that we can do investments. This could relate to the laws around it itself, or the changes in the banking around uh, the investment tools themselves, or the investments themselves, which could be a Roth IRA, traditional IRA. What else they got? The money market accounts, the things with the SEC could come up. Stuff with SEC could come up as well. This week, I got a feeling that that's going to come some with SEC filing. Something changing in the processing of it. It's not if it's a new rollout that they about to do. Whatever that rollout is, it's not going to be a good one. If they plan it on, if any of you SEC company, you major firms, investment firms, if y'all was thinking of rolling out something, it might not be the best week to do it. That's all I got to say. So if you try to, if you're talking about with press releases, it's something that will get muddled in the press release, and you will have to redo it because the messaging is not clear with the customer. Something is not clear with the communication this week when it comes to the messaging. That goes just on the individual level too. It's like things can get jump into conclusions, lost in translation, misunderstandings between the public and products. So if any type of rollout that a company was trying to do, it may be some miscommunication of the message and marketing. This is a lot. It's going to be a lot of that. It could be some doozies that we even hear about, but really some, for what I'm getting, is some type of rollout with SEC filing changes in the processing of the laws around the investments itself. Um, there could also be something with travel. Once again, travel is still in the picture big time this week, relating to um, FAA. And it does look like somebody decides to leave. If they still gonna be fighting over this reauthorization act, or are they gonna be trying to fight to pass something, it does look like somebody will walk away, or they'll come to a mutual amicable agreement for pausing, for postpone something, or to give things more time. So I am getting the postpone with the stuff relating to FAA and airlines, um, and regulations around that, processes around that. Is there any other events? Other events? Um, yeah, it's like I also could see there's something. It's big with investments and money investments mainly. It's something big this week with the investment stuff. This can even be possibly like a new app that helps with the investments, that helps people balance out their finances. It's something big with the balance of the budget too. Something with budget could come up. Announcement with budgets. Maybe on it does feel government. It can be definitely governmental, or a powerful governmental organization or department that talks about budgets this week that are quite alarming, that are quite, like, there's something with budgets. So that could be an app, a technology app, or it could be something as serious as our government doing something with the budget this week, or um, something with the changes to the investments. And so we'll keep abreast of that, because again, we do uh, these readings to try to see what we can catch up on and take advantage of. Just like we know they're going back to skill based hiring in all fields, government, tech, and no more degree requirement. That's something we jump on early. Now we know we get on the that skill stuff. The home ownership programs that came out this week. That's stuff that's you can jump on that's early. You know, the things that they're going to be trying to do with certain, even if it's in the early developments, it's something, okay, like this, these different type of changes. Last week we did stuff with the employment. We was finding stuff, with that. Um, and so that's the reason for doing these things. So we'll keep abreast to see what's going on with this investment stuff, because they can also pertain to you if they're going to change something, and or if there's some programs, that something that comes out that will help. But it's definitely something with like investments, and again, we also have something with a country with some aid or some negotiation that's not the best negotiation. And so those things are important to know. Again, we try to spin it to where it can be enriching for your actual life, and not just sitting here looking at some damn tarot cards for for the fun of it. But that's the way I'm trying to swing it, so we can see what's upcoming for the week. See how we can prepare if there's something quick that's coming out that they trying to hurry up and usher. Like again, that skills for hire thing is not yet federal, but they're making it federal, and we're catching it early. That means you got about 6 months, 12 months right now to get you on some skills, whether it's this AI shit, nanotechnology, robotics, machine learning, data analytics. What else they got? The graphic design. You got that time. And these certification, when we talk about skill based, that means no degree requirement. So you can go in Udemy and pay $50, and you can go to Nakhti University and pay. I mean, I have electricity courses and all types of programming courses on my school, you know. Again, everybody is looking for this has to be accredited and all this stuff and all whatnot. And now these days they telling you right now that degrees don't motherfucking matter. And so the schools have to change themselves to application based into teaching vocational skills that matter, particularly in vocation and STEM. It has to be STEM as well, because that's where the jobs are at for those that are looking for that, or they're gonna have to teach people how to be fucking good as entrepreneurs or different types of skills, midwifery, doula, herbalist, chiropractor, all different types of things. It's not going to matter anymore. Well, the prestige, these universities is about to shut down. That's another thing that I see happening coming next. A lot of these universities are going to have to shut down. Old time ones too. That's very, very popular, you know, including some of these Ivies. And so it's a new day and age. That's why we're doing a lot of MOOC, open, massive open online course and micro course, and you know, they're different, you know, open marketplace type of thing. Now we're moving into Dow. I'm trying to jump on that real quick because we way too early for that. And I try to talk to the educators about Dow, and you know, and talking to people, they don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's decentralized autonomous organizations, but for ED learning. Okay. And so, um, you know, we trying to jump on the whole next move, you know. Thing is changing and we can jump on these things early. Just like that week where we saw all them crazy ass storms, all them blackouts, that was the week to stack up and get maybe a cup of water or just a one candle, even if it's just a $12 extra lamp or a light or something. You know, it was blackouts that every fucking where in that country that same week that we said was gonna happen. That's a couple of days later, unfortunately, it got so bad. It got so bad when we saw all those floods, all those waters, all those blackouts. And you know, that's the reason why we'll do these things. We'll continue to do these weekly tarot because it's interesting. It's something I'm doing. If you guys want a reading, you obviously can get a reading from me off my website or by calling. You know, we do live chat. We do live video for pre-recorded. If you want your shit pre-recorded, you ain't got time to sit and be out. You just want to send an email with your questions and keep it moving. Or if you want more intimacy, not like that, but you know, if you want more like one-on-one time, you can actually call, or we can do a live chat, like an actual live chat. And so it's up to you, or video, you know. So you know, there's different ways you can reach me, and you know, but nonetheless, thanks for listening to me, because yeah, I was going on tangents talking about Drake and Kendrick Lamar. I was actually going to do a whole video, a separate video on Kendrick and Drake. I was going to do a whole separate video, and I said, now let me cover it here because you know I'm very biased towards Kendrick. I was watching one of my baby girls, and she just was going off on and on and on about Drake and going off like anybody that supported Kendrick, and like I had to turn a video off because I'm like, we never gonna see eye to eye on this shit. There, I never cared for Drake like that. You know what I mean? I like running through the six with my O's. You know how that shit go. I love that song. That's like the only song of his that I actually remember. And then there's the one with Timberland. Remember the one with Timberland? I was doing it all for you. I just want you to say something, baby. That one, say something. Those two songs are the only Drake songs that I fuck with. That I'll just be like, if I'm gonna go in this, I probably listen to Rolling Through the Six with my own. And again, I pick up the spirits behind the song. So I'm like, I like the power behind the song. I don't just listen to a song because it sounds good. Like music is alive. If music is resonance, okay? Music is so damn powerful. I mean, come on. So I have to listen to it on multiple levels. And so you know, those are the only two songs that I remember of Drake. And Timberland did the one of the, you know, everybody loved Timberland. So he did Say Something. He produced that, didn't he? But that was my shit back in the day too. But I'm not a fan of, you know, I have to say I'm not really a Drake fan, you know, and so um homegirl, she was just going in. Drake is this, he's the best. Drake is Drake is, and I just couldn't relate. So I'm like, girl, we are never going to agree on this. Let me cut this off because I'm sitting here like, what are we both listening to? You know, because I am so partial to Kendrick. But I have to say that the AI with Tupac and the Snoop Dogg, using them as the ghost writers, but he's using his flow to write for actual ghosts, or well, Snoop Dogg is alive, but for Tupac as a ghost writer, and then using his people that that Kendrick really look up to diss him. Mind you, it wasn't, if you read them lyrics, it wasn't really a diss. This was him calling him out respectfully, he ready to play. And so I thought I thought it was clever. Again, I'm not a fan of using the AI of deceased people who are not here to say whether or not they want their voice used in AI and their intellectual property and their likeness. So I'm not necessarily sold on the ethics of that. Now Snoop Dogg's alive; he can always contest that. That's why Tupac's estate said take that shit down. You got 24 hours, and they were right to do that. That man is. A lot of people don't believe in AI and hologram technology. Like Prince was against AI and hologram. Like somebody used Prince voice, it would be really really offensive to him. His spirit, because he never liked that shit. It was always demonic to him. He didn't like hologram, and he don't want nobody to do no hologram of him and all that and AI shit. And so I'm not sold on the ethics of that, but nonetheless, objectively, I thought, okay, this is interesting. Some people want to say it's corny, like, oh, that's corny, but it took a lot to think about that. Like, it's a lot of it's creative. I think it's creative, like using these your favorite idols to come at you, and then he in Drake's, he said he wrote the lyrics, and so I thought it was okay, but I'm just so biased to Kendrick. Like it's already, people that already supported Kendrick are gonna keep supporting Kendrick. That's just obvious. Just like people that support Drake are gonna keep supporting Drake. So it's like, who are you gonna win? You just got your fans looking at each other, and I don't look at her any different. Like there was no judgment. I actually cracked up the whole time listening to it because it was just like, what? Because I'm thinking in my head, like, she's like, Drake is this. He is Drake is Kendrick don't know how to rap. Kendrick ain't Kendrick. What line of shit did you smoke? What kind of shit but she probably said that about me because it's biased. And so, I ain't got no dog in this fight. Like, come on, like, do these people do anything for our lives? No. And so, I mean, maybe on a qualitative emotional aspect that we enjoy their music, so you can say that's adding value, because we enjoy their music for sure and their artistry. They make life more interesting in that regard. But I mean, come on. At the end of the day, it's bread and circus. That's the best way to put it. It's definitely looking at this Drake beef with Kendrick and Drake. This is bread and circus. Okay, that's all it is. And so you go on the sidelines and watch and see what the fuck gonna happen. It's as simple as that. But nonetheless, you guys have a great a great weekend. I have to come back to do the damn, I'm running really late today. Um but I have to come back to do the Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning lecture for Black Americans, and we'll be talking about womb management. So we'll be giving some herbs for birth control, natural birth control. We'll be talking about those things, and we have to word that very, very, very meticulously. But that we'll come back to do that, because that's another thing that we've been doing on a weekly basis, is the sex education. Okay, it's part of the Center for Sexual Health and Family Planning. So I'll come back with that. Oh, another thing I wanted to tell y'all: if y'all is interested in a cool show a cool show that I'm catching that is really really deep and really really, it got some real cool codes in it, but you have to be advanced. You have to be advanced in the in the esoteric sciences to understand a lot of the codes that they're giving out. But it's called His Dark Materials on Max. That show is awesome. It's an amazing show. So if you guys are looking for something of that nature, that's like His Dark Materials is about nano electromagnetic particles, but they call it dust. that comes off of it's also about like alternate realities and parallel universes, and they give some heavy shit about how to cross windows, how to cross different portals, but also they talk about like um it's heavy, man. It's some heavy stuff in that show, and it flies. I know it looks like a cool, interesting show, but they talk, they interact these people with in parallel worlds. You know, they're able to cross over, and what else? I mean, it's such an intricate. I mean, it's such an intricate show because I can't even really do a good job of it actually explaining it because it's a lot of themes. Here we go, right here. Part of his dark materials. And so it's a multi-world reality. Okay, the action moving from one world to another. And so it is based on a book, and it is where all human souls manifest as animal companions called daemons. It follows the life of a young girl named Lara, orphan living with scholars at the Jordan College in Oxford, a world governed by the magisterium. Okay, and so it's a lot going on. They give you a lot of stuff. His dark materials, I have to say, I said, wow, that's a powerful show. It's a good show too. It's interesting. It'll keep you interested. But for those that's really interested in like looking at esoteric sciences and trying to understand deeper meanings behind things, especially when it comes to particle dust of outer space, dark matter, and resonance, that is, and also electromagnetic particle dust. Um, that is a good show to understand some of those topics, and then how they break it down with uh, the fallen watchers and even some of the the ontological questions that they bring to the table, as well as um, the theology that they this theology is not the right word. It's I want to get this word eschatology. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say. The eschatology. I knew it was something that was on the tip of my tongue. Yes, the final destiny of the soul and of mankind. Like it kind of has those type of themes, and so that's a really good ass show, man. I actually was like watching it, and I was planning on watching it. Should be watching it right now, but I have to. I'm running late. I ain't got no complaints. I live like a royal bee. You know how the queen bee and the hive, how you ever have you ever studied the lives of the queen bees? And I live that life. I have nothing to complain about. This is the most work I have done this whole week. Um and you know how the royal queens, they eat royal jelly. Like I literally eat royal jelly. Um, you know, how the queens I was saying earlier, I was telling myself, I said the only thing that's missing is the flight, the mating flight. I have never done no mating flight. The queen bee supposed to do a mating flight. I ain't do all that now. But for those who know what the queen bee's got to do to be able to lay all them eggs, I ain't had no mating flight. But other than that, like I'm telling you, I live like a queen. And my form of laying eggs would be my little quantum uh, individual units of consciousness that I create through resonance. But other than that, like I had no complaints. So I'm running late. Running late, and so I'll be back on here. I'm about to take like a 5 minute break. Okay. God bless you guys. Love you. Bye. What you say? You said bees and wasps. Oh, yes, honey. I dropped some things and just staring and stuff. Yeah. Okay, guys. Love you guys. I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Oh, actually, I gotta end one of these. Wait a minute. I'm gonna end this one.